How's everybody doing? Yeah. All right. This is going to be a little tricky because my computer is not synced with what I'm talking about. So we're going to kind of freestyle it. I'm going to be clicking with one hand and using the remote with one hand. So if I get messed up, don't throw tomatoes or mock me too hard. This is the end. We're done. What did you think? I hope I did well. Thanks for, it is late. It's already like 9:30. Yeah, so, I will say this. I'm super happy to be here, and I see so many people that I know, so many people that have encouraged me, supported me over the years, so many friends here. It feels like a big Nashville creative hug, and so I'm super happy that you're here. I've got some stories about some of you, so that'll be exciting. But yeah, I'm really thrilled to be here, and I love Nashville. I love the design community here, the creative community. I know that there are people here who don't do design, so hopefully this will apply to you as well. So let's get rolling. Hello. I kind of did that already. Let's keep going. All right. I've got a lot of slides, and so like I said, this isn't synced up, so I'm going to get my computer rolling at the same time. So we're gonna ride the lightning here. I'm just gonna rip through these, so get ready. I want to start with our nation's poet laureate, Samuel L. Jackson, from an Oscar award-winning movie, Jurassic Park. Hold on to your butts. All right, as mentioned, my name is Matt Lehman. I run a small design and illustration studio, and by small, I mean it's just me. This is a artist rendering of what my office is like. There I am, working so hard. I want to give you a little background real quickly. I went to the University of Tennessee, early 2000s, worked at Anderson Design Group for a few years, mid-2000s, got married, had a failed freelance endeavor, which we'll get back to that in a little bit. Then I worked for CMT, which is owned by MTV. Now I'm a successful freelancer. Look at me, I'm speaking. I had a baby. I didn't have it. And now the culmination, the apex of my career this morning at CreativeMornings. So I want to talk quickly about some of the work I do, give you a little more background. This is a guidebook I recently made for if you're in the borough of Queens and you want to take the 7 train, you can eat through Queens. Do a lot of icon work. These are the icons that are in that guidebook. Did some work last holiday season for Target. We made a tacky Hanukkah sweater instead of Christmas sweater. It was fun. Do a lot of editorial work. This is some work for Entertainment Weekly. Did this year. This is almost the EGOT. There's no Tonys. They just did the big 3. Work for Field and Stream. Do a lot of work for ESPN, the magazine. Again, a lot of icons that are woven in there that they broke out for the magazine. More ESPN. Tim Tebow. You guys remember him? No, because you don't like sports because you're artists. More ESPN, LeBron James, again, sports, don't worry about it. I do a lot of logos. Recent one for Sideshow. You guys know Sideshow Sign Company? You could just have Luke speak every Creative Mornings because he's the most incredible artist. I do a lot of logos. It's a G and a B and an ampersand. Graphic design, guys. Mitchell Bat Company, another monogram. And last year I got to do some work for NASA, which you don't know is, now we can take questions. You don't always get to do work for NASA. I'll tell you that story later if you want to hear it, but I'm here to talk about work. And when I heard about the topic, I was thinking, work is kind of exhausting to even think about. Work takes work. It takes work to make work. More specifically, good work takes hard work. Think about that all the time. I'm like, man, to make something good, it's hard. And really, it takes lots and lots of hard work. I think that hard work is always the catalyst for good work, but busyness doesn't always equate to hard work. This guy is working hard. This guy's busy. Somehow they found a guy, the only guy in the world that has 6 arms. I left the watermarks. If you want to go to Shutterstock, you can buy him. He's got a twin who has 4 arms. They found the only 2 twins with multiple arms and photographed them. But let's quickly talk about what hard work looks like for creatives. Like what does that mean? Let's dig into hard work. Not really hard work. So how do we take hard work and make it into good work? And there are kind of 3 things. Hard work takes risks, it embraces failure, and it cares deeply. We're going to kind of dive into those really quickly this morning. So the first one, hard work takes risks. I mentioned that I used to work at CMT. And I want to tell you a couple stories about my time at CMT. Some of you who have seen me speak before you've heard me tell these stories, but I think they still resonate, just doing the same talk in perpetuity. No, back when I worked at CMT, I had 2 bosses that came from MTV. The guy on the left is James, the guy on the right is Michael. Some of you guys work at CMT and you knew these guys. So they worked at CMT, they hired me, and then my art director, Jason Skinner, who I think is here, who's a genius, these guys were his boss too. And so I worked at CMT, worked with Taylor Swift a lot. I was so in awe of her. Look at me. That was like a green screen. And the real Taylor came one day. This was her tablecloth era, before she got super cool. We were so in awe of her. There's Brad Davis. He might be here today. He's up there in the corner. Some other guys, local Nashville guys. And my time at CMT was enjoyable. I spent a lot of time there doing this kind of thing. This is the country Tony Danza is Kenny Chesney. They thought of me as an in-house designer, which I was. They gave me good projects, but the best stuff went out of house. And if you work in-house, you kind of know that. They're like, we'll give the good stuff to Invisible Creature. Don't worry about it. You work on this. Like, I would be happy to work on this. No, it was, again, like they gave me good stuff, but they didn't think of me as someone who could handle kind of the bigger projects. So at this point, I'd had a failed freelance career, sort of, and so I was just an in-house designer who couldn't handle the big stuff, which I said. And then I ended up taking a risk. So like I said, hard work takes risks. And we did this thing called the Music Awards, the Music Awards, 2008, this was the year I did this. It's sort of like the country VMAs. And so every year we do a logo for the show, and they didn't ask me to work on the logo. In fact, it was a Friday. I went to my boss, James, and said, hey, I really, I'm working on these Kenny Chesney PowerPoints. It's super dope, but I was making some cool stuff. I was making T-shirts and some other cool merch, but I said, can I work on the Music Awards logo? And he's like, yeah, I guess so, but we kind of hired that out to like the big boys. But if you want, it's Friday, we're presenting Monday, you can work on it this weekend. So I ended up doing this, and they picked mine. And it's kind of 2008 now, it's sort of dated, but it was sort of like rock and roll and glowy, but they picked my logo, and they ended up making billboards, and we made backdrops and cleavage, apparently. So my bosses, they ended up moving on, and they took new jobs. One went to the Discovery Channel, one went to Sci-Fi. But after that, they thought of me in a new light, and they ended up hiring me at their new jobs because they're like, oh, I guess he can do bigger and better stuff. So it was all about taking that risk and putting myself out there. One more CMT example. We did this thing called the Turkey Bowl. It was like a flag football tournament with record labels in town. And again, my boss, Jason, was great about pushing these projects. So we got this request from marketing, and they're like, hey, just make an internal email. Don't worry about it. We'll just make it good enough. We'll send it out. People can come to the Turkey Bowl, the flag football tournament. And my boss, Jason, and I were like, what if we made a logo for it, and we made icons for it, and we made posters for it, and we just kind of went to town on an assignment that they just sort of looked at as it's a throwaway, don't waste your time on it. Well, I ended up, I posted the Turkey Bowl stuff online, and it got some traction. And then about a year later, I got an email from Esquire. They're like, we love the Turkey Bowl logo. Would you make a logo for us? So again, a project that CMT didn't really want me to work that hard on, besides my boss, Jason. They were like, just do something quick. And I was like, we have a chance to make something cool here. So I ended up working for Esquire because of that and did some sketches. They wanted me to work on this project, Eat Like a Man. They do this feature about like manly foods. So I did sketches first, always do sketches first. I love sketching. I think it's just an easier way to get ideas out there. This is kind of where we landed. And that led to more work from Esquire. Some other icons that they currently use in their magazine that are running features. And then the art director from Esquire got a job at the Atlantic. So again, all from that random Turkey Bowl logo project. He moved on to the Atlantic, and in 2012, the Atlantic was undergoing a redesign, led by that guy I just showed you. He became the creative director at the Atlantic, and then they're just going to redo the whole magazine. The previous group that had redone the magazine was Pentagram. So he sent me an email, and he's like, I'm in charge of redoing the magazine. Pentagram did the last one. Would you help us with this one? And I'm thinking, oh yeah, let me just knock Michael Beirut out of the way and let me do it. If you're not a graphic designer, Michael Beirut, Pentagram, they're like Jordan. They're like the Michael Jordan of graphic design. And I'm like Detlef Schrempf. That's old. Again, you don't like sports, I'm sorry. I'm like, let me put it into a creative context. I'm like Ace of Base, and they're like the Beatles. So he was unarchiving this old logo that the Atlantic had used in the early 1900s, and he was like, I want to do something like this, but modernize it for the magazine. He's like, can you take a stab at that? I was like, sure. So he's like, send me some sketches first. We did some sketches. I'm not the greatest artist, but some quick sketches. He's like, those are too complicated. It's going to run really small. So we made some more sketches. He's like, this is great. Let's make them right reading. And we landed here. And they use it on their iPad editions. So you can see the old one, and here's the current one. So just a much more modernized, simplified version. And that all came from these two things. A logo they didn't ask me to do, and a project that they didn't care about. So the lesson here is make them notice you. The goal of taking risks is to make your employer notice you, make your clients notice you. If you're drifting and you're hoping that you're going somewhere in your career, then you're not. You will really be going nowhere. You're just kind of like hoping, someday I hope this works out for me. That's not going to get you there. Taking risks is about being intentional, and you got to have a plan. So the second thing that hard work does, it embraces failure. So about a month ago, I posted this on Twitter. I found this old DVD I'd made at CMT. Feeling bad about your work? Can't be worse than this NASCAR DVD I made with action hero Brad while I worked at CMT. Made sure to tag CMT just to stick the knife in a little bit. This isn't the worst thing. I mean, heads glowing and on top of cars. But I just thought it was hilarious. I'd forgotten about it and found it like on Amazon or something. I think it was like a recommended product or something. I was like, oh, I forgot I made that. That thing's terrible. So I posted it online, just kind of the failure of the bad work that we do. And it sort of took off. I got this from Invisible Creature, the guys at Invisible Creature. They're like, nicely done, gents, but we may have you beat. There's a Keith Sweat CD. And that's not terrible. It's also not great. And then it just kept going. This guy was like, hey, let me post this one. Look at how bad this is. Everybody did this in like 2003. Like people wearing Affliction clothes, beat up logo. Looks like it was dipped in coffee. So cool. So edgy. This guy Jordan made this Stitch t-shirt. I love the thing you wrote. You guys like t-shirts? So everybody's posting all their bad work. Same guy, a three-legged dog. This is somebody's album. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. This is one of my favorites. I don't know if you can see this. Danielle's an incredible artist, but she was like, made this t-shirt for Threadless for proud teen moms. It's Siamese twin babies connected at the brain. Trade show graphics, always a snooze. I don't know if Brad's here, but he made this. A Stephen Curtis Chapman album. He's a Christian artist. This moment when he turns into a ghost, I guess, by the interstate. A dairy website by Chris Rushing. The Fridge Force. Look out, they're coming to you. I love this one. He also made the Pampered website. Like, you know how this meeting went. Make relief big. And now, because the mom has relief from her bloating, her daughter will want to spend time with her. Love those marketing meetings, right? This one is so good because it's so bad. Like default font on the right. And I don't know if you guys know who Tyler Deeb is. He is a fantastic graphic designer. He's incredible. And he was like, this is the first thing I made in Illustrator. And I was like, oh man. And I didn't think anybody was going to beat this. And then this guy posted this. Kiwi Boys PT. I think it's a bird. But everybody just kind of got in this mode of like posting this terrible stuff that you did, which led me to think about this thing. I won't tell you who made this logo yet, but Comprehensive Media Inc. I was going through my phone around the same time and saw a promoted tweet by Comprehensive Media Inc. And I was like, that logo sucks. It's not good. And then I remembered that I had done it. In like 2002, it's one of the first things I ever did at my first job, which made me think like, my bosses really just didn't care. They're like, give it to the new guy and who cares? But it's a film strip turning into digital. Guys, the future's here at Comprehensive Media. I'm gonna align that. That's cool, I think. It's so bad. We've all made embarrassing work. It's okay. This is what the creative process is like. I'm gonna edit this because there may be some children in the room, but this is how I feel forgot my computer's not synced to the clicker. So you just saw all that bad work. Work does take work, and this is how I feel every single day. A couple guys that I share all space with are here. I feel like this every day. I usually go home at about number 4 or number 5. I'm like, I guess I'm not good. But that's okay, because I'm going home to see my family, and that's way more important. But this is how I feel. This is the creative process. This is awesome. This is tricky. I'll edit this. This is crap. I am crap. This might be okay. This is awesome. That's how everything goes for me. So we got a cruise. I want to show you another example. The other side of failing is iterating. And what does that mean? When you iterate, you make things again and again and again and again. And if you think about it, our job is like micro failures all the time. You have so much work that nobody sees because you're trying to get to that really good work. A couple years ago, I got to work for Vitamin Water for an agency in San Francisco. And I don't get to show this work in my portfolio. They don't let me. But we did so many options. I'm going to show you all the iterations, all the failures that we did. They wanted an icon for Vitamin Water, did tons of icons. But I'm just going to rip through these because there are so many here. These are all the things that they didn't use, so enjoy. We worked on bottles and cans. More bottles and cans. More. I feel like all these would be maybe more exciting than what they have. So Vitamin Water is losing a lot of market share because now there's tons of energy water drinks. When they came out in the late 90s, it was kind of like a novel thing, and the packaging was exciting back then too, but they wanted to change it up, so we went through tons of options. We keep going. Then they're like, we don't get it. We need to see, like, we can't get it with just one bottle. Show us more stuff. So then we rip through so many more. And it's just idea after idea, and it's great. It was hard because these are all getting rejected, but it forces you to dig deep to find better ideas, okay? What if we kept going? And we got to make 0 different than the regular ones. How do we do that? I really like this one. Kind of the play off what they currently have, which is that scientific thing. This is kind of a more graphic way to do that. And we kept going and going and going and going and going and going. I'm just going to keep rolling through these. Lots of VW drop connections. This one was kind of cool. It's like the triangle and the droplet makes a V and a W and a droplet. Pay me. That's like probably what anybody would have thought of, honestly. And then we made wild postings. Well, we got to see it in real life. So, okay, well, they had that tagline. Seems kind of corny, but they're like, show us what it would look like. Okay, here's some more. They want it to be younger, hipper. Okay, great. Yeah. Love it. This is exciting. I love the guy in the stock photo here. He's like, I don't care about Vitamin Water. I really liked this one. I thought this one felt fresh and young, youthful. Nope, not using any of it. Killed all of it. So nothing was ever made. Like I said, I can't put the work on my site. It was a failure to some degree, except I got paid. But I exercised some serious creative muscle. I had to iterate repeatedly and quickly. And it was like a creative CrossFit, but it made me a better designer long term. So failure, embracing failure is a part of hard work that will get you through to good work. Third one, hard work cares deeply. This is kind of the sweet spot. This is where you want to be. When you are working with a company or client who cares deeply, a company who's engaged and wants to make something great, and as a creative, whether you are a filmmaker, an animator, a writer, whether you're a baker, if you want to make something great too, that's where like the magic can really happen. And I feel like I'm most energized when this is the case. If I'm happy, if I'm interested, that sounds selfish, but it's true, it shows in the work. If the client's engaged and passionate, it shows. And so find these clients. Like, clients want you to make good things. Like, they don't want to be they don't want to be pitted against you. I think we always give clients a bad name, but clients want you to make great stuff for them. And if there's one slide that you can remember today, I feel like it's this guy. Cut through the clutter and make something special. So isn't that kind of what we're doing? Like, what do you love? Like those films that kind of cut through the other films. Whether it's an ad that really resonates, a piece of design, a piece of packaging, a piece of music that feels special. So like my goal is like I want to make something special today. Something that when somebody sees it on a shelf, it really jumps out at them. But also, I want it to be special because the product is special too. So I want to work with those clients who are making really special things. I want to kind of end with this. One of my favorite clients is Crema. Do you guys know Crema? First caveat, I love Frothy Monkey. They're in my neighborhood. Fantastic coffee. But then you have Crema. So the first time I met with Ben's last name is Lehman. There's no relation. I say that like it's bad. Like, don't associate me with Ben. But that's more of a nepotism thing. I didn't just get the work because we had the same last name. But I'd done work for Ben before. He and his wife, Rachel, own Crema. And he worked for a healthcare company before, did a lot of healthcare work for him. And he was like, hey, I'm going to go full-time with Crema. And we want to kind of update our stuff. I want to meet with you. So I sat down with Ben, and I met with him. And Ben didn't mention anything about their plan for making a lot of money. And you've had those meetings with clients where they don't really care about what they're doing. They're just telling you, like, we're going to expand. We're going to be big, we're going to make more money, and you can be a part of that. And you're like, okay, that's fine. But that wasn't Crema's goal. Ben told me 3 things about Crema, and the first time I met with him, he said, we care about coffee, we care about our craft. I was really excited about that. He's like, we want to make something that's special, that's really beautiful. We care even more about the farmers who are producing the coffee. We go down, and we fly down to Central America, we meet with them, we pay them better than average wages. We host them in America when they come. We want to honor what they're doing. And third, we care about Nashville, and we want to make something that Nashville can be proud of. And I was like, this is amazing. I would love to do work for you guys. So if you know Crema, this is their old logo. They had this sort of like spaced out trade Gothic. It has a few problems. There's no icon or avatar, which isn't a bad thing, but in this day and age with social media, you kind of need some kind of symbol. They have a little one at the bottom, but you can't even see it. It's like a lightning bolt. It's kind of squished. I think they wanted to look like a car emblem at the time. So I kind of got them here, and we made a little icon for them. We kept, if you go back, we kept the trade Gothic, but kind of tracked it in a little more. And the icon is sort of based off of a pour-over, a Chemex kind of. So it's a drip, it's a pour-over. It suggests the sustainability that they're doing with the farmers. So we kind of wanted to encompass all that in this little mark. And it's also, again, like the infinity with the sustainability. There's the icon in social media context. It reduces well. It's fairly memorable. We made menus. Always want to make icons. Made some little icons for the menus. Here's the menu in context. Business cards. Apparently, I really like that icon. Just want to repeat it 1,000 times. We made some note cards for them, some patterns. Here it is on the espresso tray. Some packaging tape. We just kept going. And this is again about Ben and Rachel. He was like, I want to letterpress everything. I was like, you don't have to tell me twice. That sounds amazing. And you see gift certificates. We made 2 different kinds of gift certificates for them. I had made a gift certificate for them that was just a standard gift certificate. It was on my to-do list for a day, and Ben was like, this is when you know that you have a good client. He's like, it's not special enough. It just feels like a gift certificate. Because it just had the regular, like, to, from, whatever. Is there an occasion? Sure. So he was like, just come up with something better and make it more, like, I wanted to feel like something that people want to keep. I was like, okay, that's great. So he liked both these ideas. We kept going. They made a sign at Pinewood Social. And these are temporary bags. These are not the greatest things ever, but these are temporary bags. We have new bags coming out. The point of me showing you this is to show you how much Ben cares. He was like, these are temporary. We're not going to keep them very long, but what if we color-coded every region and we letterpressed all the labels? I was like, you're going to keep these for like a few months, and you want to go to all that trouble. He's like, yes. It's important enough that even the temporary bags feel like somebody's getting something special. So we made some little stamps for them. And then they have some new bags that just came out about a week ago. This is a limited release, and we, again, letterpress gray on gray paper, did white bags. So the limited release has white bags. The new bags are like a dark gray. You can kind of see some of the letterpressing detail. Turned out really fun. So great clients, great companies, and great creatives work really hard to care deeply. I love this little line that Ben had. Great coffee begins with great relationships. And that's the same with the creative stuff as well when you're working with your clients. And all that leads to good work. So let's recap again really quickly. Work takes work. Duh. Good work takes hard work. And hard work takes risks, embraces failure, and cares deeply. So thanks, Nashville. But since we're in Nashville, you have to distress it so it looks like fake hat show print. And you got to put it on reclaimed wood, because that's also what we do in Nashville, apparently, at every single restaurant. But thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Matt, that was fun.
Thanks.
We have a few minutes for some questions from people. Sir.
My sister-in-law, and I wouldn't recommend her if she wasn't amazing. Her name is Beth Lehman. She's married to my brother. She's just self-taught. When she was first starting out, she was okay, and now she's gotten really, really good at it. I can give you her contact info. I can also tweet it out today if you guys follow me on Twitter. Also, and kind of an unfortunate underscore, but her name's Beth Lehman.
Nobody likes underscores.
I know.
When you're talking about digging deep and iterating for more creative ideas, where do you go for resources for that? How do you stay on the leading edge with ideas?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I don't always do this, but I like to try to push myself to do things I don't feel comfortable doing. I tend to do a lot of like this vector stuff that's really geometric, and for me, it's good to break out of that. So I think it's hard to not see what's online. It's hard to not see Pinterest. It's hard to not see those things and be inspired. But I think it's kind of better to maybe push past that. And I'm kind of in this phase where I want to make things that make me feel uncomfortable, sort of. And that's hard for me to do because I have a comfort zone. It's this kind of stuff. So I'm trying to push myself to do that. And then also think like maybe start with like all of the cliches. Like, all right, this is a green company. Let me see if I can not use green. I cannot use leaves. And just try to figure out, metaphors for that kind of stuff. I do a lot of writing before I even start, so a lot of like word association. So it's not necessarily anything that's like, go to this site and it has great ideas and cool work to look at. But so it's just kind of like trying to think of things differently. Like, how do I normally work? And I've been doing a lot of options in how I normally work. Let me do some options that are not how I normally work. And then also knowing when to curate that to show the client. I don't need to show them 50 options. If I can show them a few. Vitamin Water was different because the agency was like, we need 50 options. And that was like 50 of the 300 they showed. And Vitamin Water didn't want any of it. So that's how they operate. That's how Coke operates. They're like, we don't need it. We have tons of money. Who cares? So I hope that kind of answers your question. Any other questions? Oh, no, follow-up. No, I'd love some if you have any. It's hard. I think I'm learning that and this is like the classic thing, but don't show stuff you don't want the client to pick because they will always pick it. But I think face-to-face meetings are good, and I kind of walk the client through like, here's what your competition is doing. Here's what I think is smart for you to differentiate yourself in the marketplace. I think just sending a PDF out into the wild, like pick one of the 5 options or 10 options, whatever. And I have to do that with clients who don't live in town. That's a little scary because, you can't talk them through it. I think that cutting through the clutter sometimes is making something that looks uncomfortable and weird because so many things look the same. There's so many good things out there that you got to differentiate for your clients. But it's definitely hard. It's hard selling clients on things that look different. Lindsay, yeah. Hi.
So you've shown like this incredible progression of your career, and you even just mentioned like wanting to get more uncomfortable and push yourself. So are there like certain types of projects or even like brands, whether they be small or big,
Yeah.
that you think like it would be incredible to get the chance to work for them?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've started to do with the guys I work with. I share office space with guys who make websites, and I don't make websites. I think it's not fun. It's hard. I've been starting to do a little bit of that. So that's like the type of project I've done a little bit of like web design. It's hard. It makes me think differently. I don't know if I like that or not. I feel like it's made my print work a little better. The last few months I've been working on that kind of stuff. But in terms of the types of clients, I think working local is awesome. I think the vitamin water thing is a good example of like you think like working for Nike is going to be so cool, and then you do it and you realize like they don't care about me. They don't care. They have everybody at their fingertips. But working locally, just like the stuff that y'all do, is really great because you can work with clients directly. So I think working smaller. I think for a long time I thought I want to work for bigger people. I want to work for Coke and these big companies. But working for small people like Crema is just really fulfilling because I love what they do, and they care about and they care about the stuff that they're doing and the things that they're producing. And so I think working locally and small is really nice. But in terms of like a dream client, I don't know. I don't think I really have. I guess Nike. I said Nike, but I think it's almost more fun working with people that have bad design. And like Nike has great design. Like they don't need me. Like they have anybody. So it's like working with people that are like crappy, like LA Gear. Like give me that job if they still exist.
We got time for 1 or 2 more.
Yeah. This typeface is called Circular. I was talking with my buddy Daniel about it. You kind of see it everywhere now. It's getting popular. Daniel said it best. It's like Helvetica and Futura had like a baby kind of. Yeah, but you can buy it. It's from maybe a Swiss foundry. My debit card was declined because my bank thought I was purchasing shady stuff from Europe. I don't know. I had to call my bank to buy a font. Like, how much are you spending on that font? I'm like, sorry. Other questions? Oh, I guess maybe one more.
Yeah, one more.
I know you guys got to get to work. Thanks for hanging out.
All right, we pushed it far enough.
One more.
Is there another medium that you like to work in? Is it using sketches to prepare for your graphic stuff? Or is there another medium that you started in or that you want to go into?
Yeah, like I said, I do a lot of this really clean stuff, and what I love doing is more like traditional illustration, painting, drawing, and I've been doing some more of that. I just did some stuff for Crema that's like that. I think maybe too much of a leap for them, but yeah, so like painting. I took a painting class last year. It was incredible. It was so much fun. So I think trying to incorporate, and there's some work I have on my site that incorporates more texture, but I feel like I've kind of like exhausted this. Even though I really like it, it's kind of like a default, but making my work a little dirtier maybe. It's so clean all the time. Yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of like an art medium, in terms of like yeah, I guess that's what you mean maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. So I do a lot of handwritten stuff too, and I like doing that, and I like to do more of that. Doing the work for ESPN is great. That's a national client where the director there is like, what do you want to do? That never happens. But she's like, you could do that, right? I'm like, so she'll like show me something like, this is painted. This is a painting of this athlete. Can you do that? I'm like, yeah, and I can't, but it makes you do it. So she's a great client to have. But usually people just want what they see. They're like, you do that again for me. But it's hard to break out of that.
Thank you very much, Matt, for
Thank
an
you so much.
inspirational talk.